Hello loves, welcome back to TigeraGitana. So today we are going to be breaking down the first full moon of 2021, and that's going to be the full moon in Leo that's coming up on January 28th, 2021. First we're going to break down the planets, and then we're going to talk about the aspects. I already pulled cards for the day. It's going to be something, so we're gonna talk about it. And so so let's break down the planets. So the sun will be in Aquarius, the moon will be in Leo, the Mercury will be in Aquarius, Venus will be in Capricorn, Mars will be in Taurus, Jupiter will be in Aquarius, Saturn will be in Aquarius, Uranus will be in Taurus, Neptune will be in Pisces, Pluto will be in Capricorn, North Node will be in Gemini in retrograde, Lilith will be in Taurus, Chiron will be in Aries. Okay, so lots of different energies. We do have an Aquarius stellium happening in the chart. So remember when everything was like in Capricorn, now everything is in Aquarius. Everything's a little bit more like a breath. Again, we get to take a breath here. There's a higher focus on the crown chakra as well. There's also a lot of focus on the ego in society and our own individuality, who we are in society, what we bring to the collective. All of these kind of questions come up during this time. So we're going to get right into it. First and foremost, the sun is in an opposition with the moon for this full moon, and I'm not really surprised because Leo and Aquarius have this very much a duality of sorts. If you look at what each of these signs rule, Leo rules this very much egotistical, self-loving, self-awareness, self-shining energy, while Aquarius rules like the society shining, focusing on the collective, focusing on the people, focusing on all of us as a whole, not just one person, not just you singularly, you in the collective. So there is this kind of opposition here as far as you versus everybody else. And I do feel like the friction starts when you during this specific full moon decide to focus more on you than the collective. If you are not especially the intentions that you make in this full moon have anything to benefit the collective and just benefits you, and while again the full moon is in Leo, I understand why some people would want to make that intention. I would not say that is a good intention to do during this time, because it's very self-centered, self-focused, and that is not the energy of the chart. The energy of the chart is very much about the collective. So what is your presence within the collective? What do you want to bring to the collective? How do you want to nurture the collective with your own individuality, with your own ego, with your own sense of self? That is the way you should be approaching those type of questions, versus kind of pushing against the grain and trying to like be like, oh, I'm just focusing on me, I'm just trying to manifest me some coin, I'm just trying to manifest me a boo, I'm just trying to manifest me this. And what meanwhile society is like all over the place trying to sort the XYZ out, when you can actually give your 2 cents and be a part of that collective and bring some sort of something into fruition within that collective. And I do feel like this energy can be very conflicting when it comes to our emotions, especially when it comes to our sense of selves and how we fit into the larger picture. So definitely make sure that you have that awareness for this full moon, because while yes, it is in Leo, and Leo is again very all about the self, it's all about the collective self now. Like for right now, this specific time is about the collective self. It really is about what you're bringing to the rest of us, because Aquarian energy is all about that collective energy. The sun will also be squaring Mars, sun which will be in Aquarius, Mars which will be in Taurus, both fixed sign energies. Taurus, you guys know I will always say this, is the most stubborn, hard-headed sign in astrology. So it does lend to some impulsive behaviors, especially when it comes to money, because that's something that Taurus's rule. So be very mindful in, buying things or doing something, kind of like out of the blue, or spending your coin when you don't need to, and just kind of hold on to your coins while you can. Give yourself a moment to pull back a little bit, because I do feel like if you're impulsive, you're gonna find yourself in lacking later, when you might have need to hold on to that coin. I also will say that there will be some relief, especially I do see that coming up within the next couple of weeks charts anyway, when it comes to the stimulus that will be coming into fruition really quickly, especially once Chuck Schumer takes over the Senate and Mitch McConnell is sitting somewhere where I don't care. So you'll also see some, movements when it comes to finances for the people, again, that collective energy, that's going to come out soon as well. So be very mindful of that energy, because that also can help a lot of people. But be mindful of how you're going to spend it, or have a game plan on how you're planning on spending it, how much of it you're planning on spending, how much you're going to save. If you're going to spend it, how are you going to spend it, with what businesses are you going to spend it with, how are you going to be using that. All of these kind of things matter. Don't be impulsive or selfish, or using Taurus energy in a negative way. Try to be productive. Make sure that the things that you're spending money on are bringing you pleasure, but also are serving a purpose as a whole. And especially if you're someone who has a business or does work for other people, how can you benefit society with your own choices? How can your individuality, what you're bringing into this world, serve society during this time? This is really the questions to ask, instead of just trying to be impulsive. The sun will be in a conjunction with Jupiter, and the sun will also be in a conjunction with Saturn, because both of those are in Aquarius. So you do have that support coming from Jupiter and Saturn. So there is this energy of, especially when it comes to manifestation, and this is what I'm saying, I do feel like a stimulus will be rolling out very quickly to the American people when it comes to finances, because you do have that support. Once we get into Aquarius season, the sun will be supporting Jupiter and Saturn in this way, where they'll all be like, we need to heal the generation, we need to bring something to the generation, we need to bring something to the collective, and Jupiter is there expanding that energy. Things will be moving very quickly. You might see a lot of, like, as far as a stimulus goes, whether they do like a monthly thing or anything like that, happening very quickly. So stay tuned for that, because I do see that in the chart. I do feel like there's more of a discipline of how things are being treated when it comes to the collective, because it has such a big focus on the collective during this time. I do feel like there's also things happening a little bit quicker, just because of, like, especially when you look at the government, which is something that we obviously are going to talk about, because Aquarius rules society, so we have to talk about it. When you look at the government, there is an egotistical thing coming from the new government as well, because we do have Biden taking office on the 20th, and we do have Chuck Schumer, who's going to be taking over as majority leader from Mitch McConnell. So he'll be able to actually pass the $2,000 stimulus checks. Those things are going to be passing through a lot faster, because all parties are Democratic, and so they all agree that this needs to happen quickly. So there's a lot of, like, on the ego, like, okay, we have all of this, nobody's stopping us, so let's get as much done as possible. There's a higher focus on the collective, and so you're going to see a lot of luck and opportunities coming to the collective in that way, including with jobs. I'm also getting that message as well. Now, the sun will be squaring Uranus for this specific moon, and Uranus is in Taurus, okay? Two Taurus energies, okay? And so because the sun is squaring Uranus in Taurus, again, there is this upgrade that's happening with the finances itself. And I want you guys to remember that, because the sun is in Aquarius. It's a focus. The sun is shining its energy on the collective, not on the singularity, on the collective. And so we almost must benefit from its energy. And so the sun squaring Uranus here, because Uranus has this Taurus energy, which is fixed and wants things to move a little slower, wants the money to be used in a certain way, all this kind of stuff. But there's this upgrade happening to Taurus energy and Taurus people, to people that have Taurus placements. You will see a lot of upgrades when it comes to finances, a lot of opportunities when it comes to healing your finances, whether that be, you've been in debt for a minute, you might have to go for bankruptcy and just restart, refresh, and have a new thinking, new game plan on how you are going to commit to your finances, the things that you're going to invest in, all of these kind of things. I do feel like a lot of people are going to try to sort out a lot of the conflicts that they've had on a financial level, and so it's going to bring a lot of opportunities and a lot of ideas into the mix, which I do see with Uranus. This aspect is also really, really good for people who've been kind of wanting to do something else in their lives, or wanting to teach or help others, or be, you know, be a presence, or, you know, even like create a company that helps people do this and that, and maybe they'll use their stimulants to launch that or something like that, or they'll use some of the time that they spent building it from last year to launch it now and stuff like that. So I do feel like this square has a good potential to push a lot of the individuality in businesses and people, and also highlight a lot of the opportunities that there is with the finances within our lives as well. Now the moon will be squaring Mars, Mars which is in Taurus, the moon which is in Leo. Again, big signs energies, big signs fighting, and so there is this kind of friction when it comes to the need and the selfishness of it. And I do feel like the problem lies how everything else is being aspected in addition to the moon, because I feel like Mars, especially in Taurus, can be very impulsive and have those moments of, oh, I want to order food, I'm gonna just Uber Eats, and then you just keep minusing money out of your account, and then you're just like in lack of, you're in debt of, and so the moon in Leo could have you really kind of overspending, doing things that you might not want to do, just because you might even spend money that you don't even have, or spend your like last coins or treating yourself or stuff like that. While that energy of treating yourself and doing that, obviously it's not that it's a bad thing. However, there's a time and a place, and it's not the time and the place to be overspending, to be overdoing it. And so our emotions are kind of a little bit like, we want it, we want to do it, but at the same time, it's like, not right now. It is not the time. We should not be doing this. That's not the focus. If you do it, you're going to find yourself in a position of lacking later, and that's going to be the problem. So I really, really suggest that even if you have, you know, some conflicts about like how you want to take care of yourself during this time, how you want to treat yourself during this time, to be very mindful, keep it very low key, you know, pull away from trying to overspend, and try to relieve some of your emotional tension in that solar plexus energy, and try to fuel that into something else. Try to use the things that you already have for your own pleasure. Try to do that instead of just trying to kind of overspend your money during this time. It's just not the time. The moon will be opposing Jupiter, and the moon will also be opposing Saturn during this time. So again, with the oppositions with Sun opposing the moon as well, you do have this like increasing of the needs focus, but on a personal level. And because the generational planets, like because Saturn and Jupiter are in Aquarius, and it has a bigger focus on everybody else, while you do benefit from that as well, on an emotional level, there's just a me kind of focus here with this opposition, where it's like me against the world. It doesn't have to be you against the world. You're also benefiting and kind of navigating through the world's energy and what's happening within the collective, and you have to be aware of that, because I do feel like there's definitely people out there who are going to fall in the trap of like feeling very self-centered. And you might see this in like celebrities and people like that, who like will want to try to be shining in moments where it's like not even like it's not even about you right now, like, can you please sit down? And this is really hard, especially the moon opposing Saturn, because it can be a time for people to get really down on themselves, how they feel about themselves, especially if they feel very lacking of. They could get, you know, some mental health issues can arise during this time. You could be looking down on yourself or feeling like you can't shine within society because of this opposition. So just be mindful of how, as far as your ego goes, how healthy your ego is during this time. Ego health is really important during this time, because I do feel like there is just like this battling energy of like, how do I shine within, you know, society, when right now it's not necessarily about that. And so your moon, your emotions are like, oh, but me, woe is me, kind of. But it's like Aquarian energy is about everybody. It's not just you. And so you have to be mindful of how this energy is kind of manifesting in your own life, how it's manifesting within you, how you're feeling during the day. I do recommend some people rewatch this on the day, because I do feel like it will confirm certain things to them. The moon will also be squaring Uranus on this day. Moon again in Leo squaring Uranus, which is in Taurus in a fixed sign. And so we do have like this energy of trying to make things feel right, but not necessarily them being correct at the same time. Is the best way I can explain it. I feel like there can be a high stubborn energy during this time. There can be very frustrated energy. There can be really people really having like a tension, an emotional tension with, you know, who they are, how they feel about themselves, how they feel about life, how they feel about others, how they feel others have harmed their growth to whatever extent. And it's just like there's levels of it just goes in like levels. There's just like this lacking of shine, and having way more explosive emotions, having like out of the nowhere, having a breakdown, clashing out of someone because maybe they're not paying attention to you, or they didn't text you back as fast, or just like really like it's interesting because it's almost like taking the worst of Leo energy and Taurus energy and kind of fighting it off when they're both very very loving energies when used correctly. But when used incorrectly, you do have this very stubborn and like, you know, not wanting to budge, very self-focused, very egotistical energy, not wanting to change, not wanting to evolve, not understanding why they have to change, why they have to evolve, why it's not about them right now, like all of these kind of things, like feeling almost like backed into a wall. And I do feel like it can, especially the moon square Uranus, you can lead to some people just breaking down, or, you know, going off on someone, just to release some of that pent-up emotional frustration that lies there. Venus will be in a conjunction with Pluto, which is in Capricorn, Venus, which is in Capricorn. So this is a really good time to do any type of business spell work, okay? Especially because Aquarian season is also all about, again, the collective. So if you're creating your own business and you're trying to serve society, trying to bring something new to society, to anything, oh my god, best time to do that type of spell work, because you'll find that you'll have that backing, that success, and able to also call for that transformation for your business to grow and transform into a bigger version of itself. Really good time to do any better business, jobs, kind of spells, because you will have that being able to tap into that Capricorn energy and using that energy to give you that bump, that edge. Mars will be squaring Jupiter and will be squaring Saturn. So again, Taurus energy squaring this fixed sign energy of like Aquarius. It's like the fixed signs of fighting. So there is this kind of like not wanting to budge, wanting things to stay a certain way. Don't forget that Aquarian energy is all about it taps into the Uranus energy of upgrading, becoming better, evolving, the higher consciousness, the crown chakra, tapping into your higher self, wanting to be more in alignment with your higher self, your individuality in that way, and how that taps in and connects you to the rest of the world, to the rest of spirit, humanity, everybody. And so there is this kind of like recklessness that's coming out from Mars, and there is this, it's definitely an anchoring, I will say. Mars is gonna be that especially now that right now that it's gonna be in Taurus, it has this energy of this anchoring to the ground, wanting to just focus on the physical realm, not understanding that this specific time it will be very highly focused on the upper realms as well. You do have a higher focus on the crown chakra, and so it's not just about who you are in the physical, it is how you evolve through all aspects, and how you're able to shine through all aspects, how you're able to find pleasure, find love, find money through all aspects. Use that Taurus energy in a positive light. But Mars is just like there's just like this wanting to take all the baggage that you've had with you on here, and it's hard because it doesn't try to be evolving or constructive, where it's like Mars squaring Saturn. It's just like I don't want to change. I don't feel like I have to change. I think I just need to stay the same until there's a better time for me to be myself. That's not the way that it's supposed to be. There is this this power that needs to come out of it, while Mars ultimately will like slow things down with the square, because ultimately Mars is not really going to be able to like, you know, take on Saturn in that capacity, and create, but it can create a lot of like friction in like feeling of being stuck, not being able to find pleasure or have the pleasure that you need, because you feel like the generational planets are just focusing on society, focusing on the collective, focusing on not you, and there's just like this evolution that needs to be had, but this friction of wanting to stay the same at the same time. So if you're doing any type of meditations, crown chakra work during this time, your ego, your Mars, like your solar plexus, might have some tough times going through some of those evolutions, depending on what sign you are, and depending on how you navigate or how healthy your fixed signs placements are as well. You might have a little bit of a friction with this, but I do feel like it can bring you to a point, to the brink of change, if you allow it to be, but it's not about fighting it, it's about going with the flow. Okay, please remember that you cannot fight the whole thing. It's just about going with it, making decisions to go with it. You can't always stay the same. You can't always stay in the same house for the rest of your life. You can't always eat the same food for the rest of your life. You can't. You will at some point your body will just not be in that moment calibrated to that energy, that ideal. It will want to evolve. Naturally it will want to grow, and your bones and all your body will tell you, we're tired, you have been doing the same thing for such a long time, we're tired. Change your perspective, change the lane that you're trying to walk on. Just change the direction, because I need you to shift this. I need you to shift the mentality a little bit. So yeah, Mars is definitely going to be doing some things. Mars is in a conjunction with Uranus, and this to me is good, because again, Uranus is working to upgrade Taurus energy, to really help them be the best that they can be, help them create new value, new pleasure, new love, new money, understand that they can do things, and be a little bit more progressive in the way that they do things as well, being less stubborn, and understanding where there's opportunity and stuff like that, and unexpectedly at that. And so you do have this conjunction happening here, that helps people try to work out through their sorting out who they are on an individualistic level, their independence and what they want to do. And this is again the way I would try to tap into it if I was you guys. I would not try to be fighting no energy right now. No, I would just go straight into my crown chakra and ask to be, especially the archangels, ask for the help that I need to evolve, to move forward, to understand what comes next, all of these things, to understand my place in this world and what I can do next, and the steps that I need to take next to progress, instead of try to have that friction and just stay in the things that I already find pleasurable, that I already find comfortable, and sit there. That's where you're gonna find the battles at. Okay, that's the battle zone. And just trying to keep everything the same. Jupiter will be in a conjunction with Saturn, obviously, because they're both in Aquarius. Jupiter will also be squaring Uranus, and Saturn will be squaring Uranus. So the generational planets are, again, Jupiter and Saturn will be supporting each other during this time. Jupiter will be making Saturn's energy move a little bit faster, especially through the lens of Aquarius. So there's a bigger focus with society, karmic justice happening with society, how we communicate, technology, everything that's going on with the government, and people getting new platforms, rightfully so. All of these kind of things that are just happening, the karma that's happening very quickly, all of these things are because they're supporting each other. So even having this friction with Uranus, as far as Jupiter squaring Uranus and Saturn squaring Uranus, this is just going to make things happen very unexpectedly. And if they start passing that stimulus, you will end up getting that stimulus really, really on the day that you didn't even think you were going to get it, even whether it be right away or, a little a little bit longer than it should be. Kind of that kind of energy is a little bit all over the place, a little bit chaotic. But ultimately it's being used in a way that we're able to calibrate ourselves with our finances specifically, which is the good thing. I do feel like the generational planets are focusing on the economy as well. I do see that in the chart, and I do feel like they're looking at what's going on, what are the problems with the law, what is, especially with Jupiter and Uranus, like what are the problems with the law, what are the issues, what do we need to pass, what do the people need. Like, it's really, the question is, what do the people need, and how fast do we pass it? So that's the energy, and that's what I see for this full moon in Leo. As far as intentions for the day, I really do feel like we need to listen, we need to make sure that we are ready, especially because of the way that these cards are looking. Like, first of all, bottom of the deck is the Tower and the the King of Cups. Okay, and this is what I'm telling you, as far as focusing on the Leo aspect of that full moon, it would behoove you to focus on the whole chart versus, oh my god, it's a full moon in Leo, that means that, oh, it's time to self-care and do all this stuff. It will behoove you to focus on everything, the entirety of the chart, looking at the entire energy, looking at society itself, not just you, because it is not the time. It is not the time. As far as the cards go, we have the Three of Cups, the Three of Swords, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse, we have the Seven of Cups, then we have the 10 of Wands, and we have the 2 of Swords. So right off the bat, I can tell you that there's a couple of things, not a couple, there's been a lot of things, especially in the government, a lot of different laws, the minimum wage, all of that, that's been sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk in the Senate for quite a long time, that he hasn't passed, that is supposed to benefit society. And now that he has lost his, Air Gemini annoying person out of office, now that he lost this person, now that he lost all power, to be quite honest, because he doesn't have the same ability to block bills and stuff like that comes into the desk. Chuck Schumer now to be taking power, and now the pains of this person, the injustices that's been going on with Trump, all of the wounds, how people have been suffering with evictions, with the coronavirus, with their finances, the stimulus bill, all of these kind of things are coming into the focus, because we have the Seven of Cups here. Like, hey, we've had bills and bills and bills sitting on there like for a long time, and you guys have just been straight ignoring it. And now during this time, because on the 28th, by then all three branches of government will be under Democrats. So you'll have this like energy focused on the things that haven't been passed, that it's just been like a struggle to try to even get any of them to pass. Like, it's just been a hot mess. It's been a hot mess for them to think of anything other than themselves, for Mitch McConnell to be like, no, I will never want Biden to have any success, or even Obama for that matter to have any success, to have anything to speak of, to have a record. Like, he really wanted to strip his record from him and not let him pass anything throughout his whole entire 4 years. And so you do have this kind of like, there's been a lot of wounds here, a lot of problems that have been created from inaction, and it's just been like trying to use time, like, okay, we're moving slowly, we passed this bill, oh, it's not gonna pass. Why? Because Mitch McConnell's there. It's just like, we're moving slowly. Like, now it's come to the point where there is an understanding that now that you don't have this issue in the way, you can start making more moves into those areas that have been a struggle area. However, I will tell you, right when I saw these cards, I saw some issues happening on a social level when it comes to like any rioting, any protesting from the maggots, in the terrorist in the land. I do feel like there's the energy is there to kind of fight a little bit. I feel like some people will go down into a hole and feel like they're being oppressed, and then some people will actually be trying to fight it a little bit. They're gonna tipping off emotion, fighting through their own emotions, kind of There's the energy of caution, and that did come up in the reading. First card that came out was fertility and renewal, and this is what I'm saying. There is this like, we got a new people here. We can now start passing stuff like quickly, because those bills have been sitting. There's like 250, like over 250 bills that have been sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk for like 6 years. I'm just saying. You have unique and distinctive, which is very much Aquarian energy, and then you have caution and wisdom. And I do feel like there's a lot to learn from what has happened in the past few years. And right now, I do feel like there is still tension. There's still tension. You can definitely cut it with a knife. There's definitely, I feel like some people are feeling targeted. So, some people are feeling targeted. Some people are trying to justify something. Some people are not trying to change your thinking. Some people are feeling like they're forced to be or think that this is a new America. Like all of these kind of things, like they're thinking like the worst of the worst. But for the most part, I do feel like because we have this removal of Trump happening, that things are going to be shifting to more of a focus on the collective and relieving some of the tension that we've had, all the inaction that we've had. Como dice mi mamá, matando hormiga, like just trying to move the car like slowly at the slowest pace instead of actually, you know, moving the car. So there is this kind of energy of like, okay, the shift is happening. We also do not forget that we're in the age of Aquarius. It's a very society focused age. I'm just saying. The next card that we have is First Step. Okay, and it says breaking down this problem into tiny pieces makes it easy to take the first step. And I do feel like that's what's going on right now. I do think that especially on a society breakdown, they're going to be watching Biden and all of the different policies, Nancy Pelosi, all of the laws, that because now you can't blame, oh, Trump doesn't want to pass anything, oh, Mitch McConnell's been sitting on his desk. You can't argue that no more. You have the whole entire three. So now it's all about pass it, pass it, pass it. I feel like there's this kind of FDR energy coming up right now. You're gonna see that within the first 100 days. If you look back at history, FDR passed like, was it within his first 100 days, he passed like 200 something bills or something. He created like food stamps. He created like, it was a very society focused, like, no, this is about the people need support, the people need checks. Like he was sending checks to people. I believe it was every month they were sending checks to people and stuff like that, while FDR was there. And I do feel like there's this kind of energy of, no, we gotta support the people, we gotta go hard, we gotta do this, we got the power now, we can do this, we gotta go. So you're gonna see this within the next moving through January into February. Things are going to be feeling like a breath of fresh air, and a movement through inaction. That's the way I see it. And then we have magnify your intentions. And I'm telling you, people, especially in the government, are going to have this energy of, you know what, if we're going to do this, we're going to go ham, we're going to help. This is our legacy. This is what we need to show the American people, that what we did in reaction to what this dude left us, all this kind of stuff. Like there's this big focus on legacy, and what they do now will be in many ways legendary as far as the United States go, because it will be helping the generation. So people will remember this. They'll look back at this like, yo, we had a riot and then this is what happened right afterwards. So there is this kind of like switch that's happening. We also have innocence. Okay, from Archangel Michael. It says, the prayer goes, Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see that all of your qualities of pure love and light are reflected within me and all others. Help me embrace God-given innocence so that I may be at peace. Okay, and I do feel like there is this kind of cleansing that's happening, this kind of like, okay, I've been feeling so much hate towards this group and all this stuff, like the healing and stuff, the healing the America kind of thing. While there again is tension, 1000%, I'm not saying there's not, there is this breath of fresh air that's going to happen with the new administration as well. And I do feel like as far as ourselves, we need to stay a little bit vulnerable instead of trying to tap into the ego and being bold. Just being vulnerable with ourselves during this time is going to be the right way to go, because then you're able to really tap into the chart itself, tap into the energy of the chart itself versus just trying to boost yourself up. The next one that's coming up from Archangel Michael is lean on God and the angels for support. And the prayer goes, dear God and angels, I give you this, and this says briefly describe the situation. Now and completely, I step out of the way and allow divine miracles to shine through everyone and everything involved. Okay, and I do feel like that's really what the society is. I think for the remainder of this month, we all need to pray for each other, pray for society, pray for healing, pray for the collective healing, pray for collective peace. It's not just, oh my God, ancestors, please help me get this car. It's not just that. Like, really pray for the collective, because you are a part of that as well. And I've said this before, if you live in a good block and everybody has the stuff together, and the energy of that block is like, you know, people got cars, people got houses, people are wealthy, people, and people have this energy of like thriving and growth, and you know, the neighborhood's growing. We got a new shops or new things that are opening in the block that support the block, that bring things to that neighborhood. You see how the neighborhood and the energy thrives. You see how the people will thrive. But if everybody's in lack, then that's exactly how it's going to get magnified. So yeah, so that's what I see for this new moon in Leo. Please mind your ego, okay? And please pray for the rest of everybody. Pray for everybody. So I will definitely see you, loves, in the next one. Definitely do not forget to check out the memberships. The link to join will be down below. Don't forget to check out the Patreon as well, because we're always growing over there. And I will definitely see you, loves, in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on all the socials as well. I'm on TikTok at TigeraGitana, Instagram at TigeraGitana, Twitter, all that jazz. And yeah, I will see you, loves, in the next one. Have a very beautiful, beautiful full moon in Leo, and stay safe, please.